You can buy the most expensive bespoke suit. You can drown yourself in a liter of luxury cologne. You can even memorize every seduction line from cheap pickup artist courses. But if your internal battery is at zero, to women, you will remain invisible. A blank space. Just background noise. Female intuition is not mysticism. It is a harsh biological radar. She doesn't see your status. She smells it. Literally. Science confirms this. Levels of testosterone and cortisol change the chemical composition of your sweat, your micro-expressions, and even the vibration of your voice. High testosterone smells like confidence, danger, and life. High cortisol smells like fear, old age, and decay. It is December now, the month when 95% of men make a fatal mistake. They finish off their hormonal system with alcohol, stress, burning deadlines, and tons of sugar. They enter the new year castrated, tired, empty, and mentally old. But you have a chance to change everything. If you use the remaining days of December for the accumulation protocol I am about to explain, then in January 2026, you will wake up a different man. You will wake up with such a reserve of biological power that women will feel your testosterone from a mile away. This isn't magic. This is biochemistry. And today we are going to hack this system. Before we begin, let's check who's ready for a real transformation. Like this video right now. This will be your commitment to yourself, to watch until the end. And if you are here for the first time, subscribe. We are starting. The anatomy of the winter crash. Why are you getting weaker? Let's stop living in illusions and look at our enemy under a microscope. We say that winter is the time of death, but you have no idea how literal that is. In nature, there is a strict law of energy conservation. When the temperature drops and daylight shortens to a minimum, every biological system receives the command stop, freeze, conserve, survive. But what happens to you? Your genetics are the genetics of a Paleolithic hunter. Your genes, remember? December is a time of famine, cold, and darkness. Your hypothalamus, the main command center of the brain, receives signals from the retina. No sun. And it triggers a cascade of hormonal changes called seasonal depression. But this isn't just a bad mood. It is a metabolic catastrophe. Let's take this mechanism apart, screw by screw. You take the first hit on the light hormones line. Due to the lack of bright sunlight, your pineal gland starts to go crazy. It cannot produce enough serotonin, the hormone of joy and dominance. Instead, it floods your brain with melatonin, the sleep hormone. You wake up, but your body is still asleep. You go to work, but your brain is in zombie mode. You try to be productive, but you are fighting against your own biochemistry. And this is where the modern man makes his first fatal mistake. He tries to hack the system with cheap stimulants, coffee, energy drinks, bright smartphone screens until late at night. What does this do? It creates a monstrous circadian dissonance. Your cells are screaming that it is night and winter, but the caffeine poured into your veins is screaming that it is noon and summer. Your body loses its orientation in time. And when the body doesn't understand when to sleep and when to hunt, it shuts down the most energy-consuming function. It shuts down the reproductive system. Moving to the second level of the problem, the Pregnenolone Steal phenomenon. This is what kills your testosterone in December faster than any poison. Listen carefully, because this knowledge is worth millions. We have a mother hormone in our body called pregnenolone. All other steroid hormones are built from it. Testosterone, the hormone of kings, is made from it. And cortisol, the stress hormone, is also made from it. December. The end of the year. Deadlines, reports, searching for gifts, traffic jams. Your psyche is under siege. Your adrenal glands are screaming. We need cortisol to survive in this hell. And the body makes a choice. It takes all the pregnenolone and uses it for cortisol production. There is simply no raw material left for testosterone production. Do you understand? You are not just tired. You have chemically castrated yourself with your own lifestyle. You have turned into a factory for producing anxiety by shutting down the factory for producing masculinity. This is exactly what women smell from a mile away. They don't see your blood tests. But evolution has taught them to read the testosterone to cortisol ratio by your posture, by the timbre of your voice, by the smell of your sweat. A man with high cortisol smells like sour fear. A man with high testosterone smells like musk and calm. In December, 90% of men smell like fear. Do you want to be one of them? But that is not rock bottom yet. The third layer of the problem is the metabolic trap. Winter, cold. Your body activates an ancient program. Store fat to avoid dying of hunger. Insulin sensitivity drops. Sensitivity to leptin, the satiety hormone, drops. You constantly crave fatty and sweet foods. This is not your weakness of will. This is your genetics saving you from an ice age that doesn't exist. And what do? You go to the office party. You eat salads with mayonnaise. You drink alcohol. You stress-eat chocolate. You give your body tons of empty calories. Adipose tissue begins to grow at a frantic speed. And fat tissue is not just ballast. It is an active endocrine organ. The enzyme aromatase lives in fat tissue. Remember this name, aromatase. She is your main enemy. She takes your precious testosterone and turns it into estradiol, into the female sex hormone. Why do you think men become so tearful, soft, and touchy by January? Why do they get a belly and man boobs? Because they have turned themselves into women on a hormonal level with their own hands. Fat turns an alpha male into an emotionally unstable ant. And all this happens to the sound of clock chimes and clinking champagne glasses. Funny, isn't it? And the fourth, final layer of this disaster is psychosomatic. What Carl Jung talked about. The Negredo stage, blackness. In alchemy, before lead turns into gold, it must completely decompose, rot, and pass through the stage of black death of matter. December is a psychological Negredo. We sum up the year. We see how much we did not manage to do, how many promises we broke. This is a burden of guilt and disappointment. Most men run from this feeling. They turn on Netflix, play video games, go on a drinking binge. They do not let their psyche process this black slag. And as a result, they drag this bag of rot into the new year. They start January already tired. They have no sparkle in their eyes because their psychic energy is spent suppressing their own shadow. Here is the full picture. You are against the sun. You are against your adrenal glands. You are against your own fat. And you are against your psyche. The chances of winning this game by the old rules are 0. You can buy a gym membership on January 1st, but if your hormonal system is destroyed in December, you will quit in 2 weeks. You simply won't have enough biological drive. Your scent changes. Your field changes. You become the invisible man. A woman can talk to you, maybe even sleep with you out of pity or habit, but her animal self does not want children from you. It wants to run, because nature does not tolerate weakness. Nature rejects those who could not adapt to winter, but there is good news. Your body is a perfect adaptation machine. If you know which levers to pull, you can flip this game. You can use the cold, the darkness, and even this Negredo state as fuel for a jet takeoff. To become a March cat in the spring, you must become a winter monk in December. You must go against the current. While everyone is destroying themselves, you will be reassembling yourself. And here is the concrete protocol on how to do it. Step 1. Dopamine silence. Neurochemical. Reboot. How do we restart a system that has frozen? We must understand the nature of your main engine, dopamine. Most people mistakenly believe that dopamine is the pleasure hormone. This is a lie. Dopamine is not the pleasure of receiving a reward. It is the fuel for seeking a reward. It is the hormone of motivation, the hormone of I want, the hormone that forced our ancestors to get up at 5 in the morning and run after a mammoth dot in a healthy body. The system works like this. You see a goal. Dopamine levels rise. You exert effort, reach the goal, receive a peak of pleasure via endorphins, and the system calms down. But in December 2025, your dopamine system looks like burnt wiring. You have fallen into the superstimuli trap. This term was introduced by ethologist Nico Tinbergen. He discovered that if you show a seagull chick a fake beak that is brighter and larger than a real mother's beak, the chick will ignore the mother and beg for food from the fake. It will peck at the plastic until it dies of hunger. You are that chick. And your smartphone is the fake beak dot in December. We declare a dopamine silence mode. And this is not about digital detox for fashion. This is an operation to save your androgen receptors. Let's break down the two main tools of your self-destruction. Tool 1, pornography and the Coolidge effect. Be blunt. Porn is the most terrifying weapon of mass destruction ever invented by humanity. This is not moralism. This is pure neurobiology. When you open a site with adult content, you are hacking an ancient evolutionary mechanism known as the Coolidge effect. The essence of the effect is simple. A male rat that has impregnated a female loses interest in her. He enters a refractory period. But if a new female is placed in the cage, he instantly recovers his strength and mates with her. If you change her again, he is ready again. This mechanism was created by nature to maximize gene spreading. But nature did not know you would have access to high-speed internet. In one evening of surfing, you change more partners than your great-grandfather saw in his entire life. Your ancient brain does not distinguish between pixels and reality. To the limbic system, you are a super alpha male who has access to an infinite harem of ideal, always ready women. You are tricking your brain into thinking you have already won the evolutionary race dot, and here comes the payback. After ejaculation, prolactin is released into your blood. Remember this name, prolactin. It is the antagonist hormone to testosterone. Normally, it is needed so a man calms down after sex and doesn't immediately run to find another. But when you marathon on porn, you flood yourself with prolactin up to your ears. You become sluggish, passive, weak-willed. Your testosterone drops because, biologically speaking, the mission is accomplished. Why would you need to be aggressive? Why conquer the world? You have already received everything while sitting on the sofa with your pants down. Moreover, constant dopamine bombardment leads to your receptors burning out. This is called downregulation. The brain sees there are too many stimuli, and to avoid burning out, it removes the sensitive antennas. As a result, ordinary life becomes gray. A real woman seems less beautiful to you than an actress in 4K. Real successes do not bring joy. You live in a black and white world where colors exist only on the screen. Therefore, step 1 is total abstinence. Not reduction, but zero. You must shut off this valve. The first few days will be withdrawal. You will feel emptiness, irritation, boredom. This is called the dopamine pit. Do not be afraid of it. It is a sign that the healing process has begun. Your receptors are starting to grow back. Tool 2, cheap social. Status. The second hole where your power leaks out is social media and news. Every like, every comment, every notification is a microdose of approval. Evolutionarily, we are pack animals. It is important for us to know that the pack accepts us. Previously, to get the pack's respect, you had to bring prey, defend the tribe, or say something wise. Now it is enough to post a photo of food or write a stupid comment. You scroll the feed for hours. Your brain is in a state of background anxiety and comparison during this time. He has a better car. She has a brighter life. And I am here. This raises cortisol. You are giving away your attention, the most expensive currency in the world, to complete strangers. You are feeding algorithms instead of feeding your ambition. Dopamine silence in December means deleting parasite apps. Keep only messengers for work. Stop being a spectator of someone else's life. Become the director of your own. The mechanics of transformation. What will happen in 14 days? When you remove these surrogates, an amazing thing happens. First, silence. And then, an explosion. Your body, deprived of cheap feed, begins to panic. Where are the females? Where is the status? Where is the pleasure? It understands. The free ride is over. We are in the real world. And in the real world, to get dopamine, you have to do something. And this is where your predator genetics kick in. The hypothalamus commands the release of gonadotropin-releasing hormone. It kicks the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland sends an order to the testes. We need testosterone, urgently. The host must become aggressive and attractive. Otherwise, we will not reproduce. Your testosterone starts to grow, not just for a number on a lab report. It grows for a specific task, to force you to get off the couch and go into the world instead of prolactin lethargy. Dopamine drive appears. You start looking at women not as a content consumer, but as a hunter. Your gaze changes. It becomes undressing, but not vulgar. It becomes evaluating. Women feel this instantly. They see a man who didn't drain his energy into a tissue 5 minutes ago. They see a man who has accumulated an electric charge inside. This hunger is the strongest aphrodisiac. In a world of full, lazy, overfed on dopamine men, a hungry wolf is king. You want to feed him. You want to tame him. You want to surrender to him, but there is one nuance. The most dangerous moment. On the 7th to 10th day, you will have a peak of energy, and the brain will try to trick you. It will say, we did great. We held out for so long. Let's just take a peek with one eye. Do not fall for it. It is a trap. One look, and you are back at the bottom of the pit. You must go through the entire December in this state of sacred hunger. Let it burn you from the inside. Let it force you to make money, pump iron, meet people in real life. Transform this lust into action. This is the sublimation that all great minds from Freud to Napoleon Hill spoke about. The result is simple. Either you control your dopamine, or those who sell it to you control you. In December, we take the remote control back. It is painful. It is hard. But it is the only price for regaining the right to call yourself a man. Step 2. Thermal shock. Awakening. The beast. The second step is physical resuscitation. To understand the essence of the problem, let's look at your habitat. You live in a temperature paradise. In the morning, you crawl out from under a warm blanket. You walk on a heated floor to a warm bathroom. You get into a car with heated seats. You arrive at an office with climate control. In the evening, you put on thermal underwear, even if it is only -5 outside. You have created a cocoon of eternal summer around yourself. And this cocoon is killing you. Evolutionary biologists call this the crisis of comfort. Your body has forgotten what thermoregulation is. And when a function is not used, it atrophies. Your blood vessels have become lazy. Your immune system is asleep. Your mitochondria, the power stations of cells, are working at half-strength. In December, we introduced the thermal shock protocol. We will use cold as a biohacking tool. And there are 4 levels of impact here, each of which is critically important for your testosterone and male state. Level 1. Vascular gymnastics and nitric oxide. Let's start with the most important thing for a man: circulation. Imagine that your circulatory system is 100,000 kilometers of pipes. In conditions of eternal warmth, these pipes are relaxed. The muscles lining the vessel walls become flabby. This is a direct road to hypertension, heart attacks, and weak erections. Yes, the mechanism of an erection is pure hydraulics. If the vessels are bad, there will be no pressure, no matter how much Viagra you eat. Ice water is the best workout for these muscles. When cold touches the skin, instant vasoconstriction occurs. The vessels shrink sharply to keep the heat inside the body's core. Blood rushes from the limbs to the organs. As soon as you step out of the cold into the warmth, powerful vasodilation occurs. The vessels expand. It is a pump. You force the blood to circulate with furious force, washing away stagnation and toxins. But the most interesting thing happens on a chemical level. The sharp expansion of blood vessels stimulates the production of nitric oxide. This is the same substance that potency pills act on, and the same substance bodybuilders use for muscle pump. A cold shower is a natural nitric oxide booster. You get a rock-hard circulatory system ready to fill your body, and not just your body, with blood at any moment. Level 2. Catecholamine explosion and the predator brain. Now about the brain. Do you know that state of winter cotton wool in your head? When thoughts are sluggish, focus drifts, motivation is zero. This is a neurotransmitter deficiency. Coffee gives you a temporary spike, but then throws you even lower. Cold acts differently. Dr. Andrew Huberman, a neurobiologist from Stanford, proved immersion in cold water for just a few minutes causes a dopamine release of 250%. This is comparable to the effect of cocaine, but without the come down in health damage. Moreover, this dopamine level lasts for several hours. You get a long, steady focus and a sense of drive. But the main thing is norepinephrine. Cold shock squeezes a powerful dose of norepinephrine out of your adrenal glands and the locus coeruleus in the brain. This is the hormone of rage, concentration, and action. It instantly kills any depression. It is impossible to be sad when you are standing under an ice waterfall. Your body thinks you are dying and turns all systems to maximum to save you. After the cold, you feel this animal clarity. All petty problems, the report, traffic, a stupid comment on the internet, disappear. Only pure perception remains. You become absolutely calm because you have just defeated death in miniature. This is the alpha state. Not showy brutality, but the calmness of a man whose pulse is 50 beats per minute, but who is ready to strike. Level 3. Brown fat and the metabolic furnace. The third point is your weight. In winter, you gain fat, but fat is different. There is white fat, those spare tires on your sides where aromatase lives, killing your testosterone. And there is brown adipose tissue. This is a unique tissue. It is packed with mitochondria containing iron, hence the brown color. The function of brown fat is to burn white fat to generate heat. This is your internal furnace. Infants have a lot of brown fat. In adult men, it is almost atrophied due to comfort. But cold can wake it up. Regular cold triggers the process of browning fat. Your body understands. The master has gone crazy. He lives in the freezing cold. We need more furnaces. And it starts turning your fat reserves into pure thermonuclear energy. You start losing weight, even when you sleep. Your metabolism speeds up. You stop freezing at the bus stop while others chatter their teeth. Heat begins to radiate from you. Women love hot men. And in this case, it is not a metaphor. Sleeping next to a man who radiates a heat wave is an ancient safety instinct. Level 4. Psychological hardening and killing the inner negotiator. And finally, the fourth aspect, the most important for the spirit. This is willpower training. Every morning, when you stand in front of the shower and your hand reaches for the faucet, a little voice wakes up in your head. It whispers, "Don't. Let's do it tomorrow. It's cold today. You're tired. Why do you need this?" This is the voice of your weakness. This is your inner negotiator. Most men listen to him all their lives. They negotiate with themselves. "I'll do it later." And they never do. A cold shower is the place where negotiations end. You hear this voice. Tell it shut up and turn the handle. This activates the anterior cingulate cortex of the brain, the zone responsible for will. Scientists call this voluntary suffering. When you voluntarily go into discomfort, you temper your character like steel. You get used to doing what is necessary, not what you want. This skill instantly transfers to business, relationships, sports. You stop fearing difficulties because you start every morning with a feat. Practice. How not to kill yourself, fool's mistakes. How to do this correctly in December. No need to jump into an ice hole right away. We are not walruses, we are biohackers. We need hormesis. Stress that strengthens, not kills. Start with a regular warm shower. Warm up the body, and then sharply switch to ice cold. For 30 seconds. The most important thing here is breathing. Your body will want to contract and stop breathing. This is the cold shock response. Your task is to restore deep, calm breathing by sheer willpower. Inhale, exhale. You tell the body, everything is under control. I am the master here. Do not just stand under the stream. Move. Rub yourself. Roar if you want. This is an aggressive process. You are not a victim being watered. You are a warrior absorbing the power of the elements. After the shower, do not dry off immediately. Stand wet for a minute. Feel the body start to burn, turning on the internal heating. This feeling of power cannot be confused with anything. About spermatogenesis, important detail, and the final nail in the coffin of your laziness. Think about why male reproductive organs are placed outside, while female ones are hidden inside. This is not a design error. Spermatogenesis, the process of creating seed, requires a temperature 2 degrees lower than body temperature. Heat is death for your future children and your testosterone. Hot baths, heated seats, tight underwear, these are micro-castration. Cold preserves life. Cold increases the concentration and mobility of sperm, and the body, seeing that the seed is strong and viable, gives the go-ahead to increase libido. It wants to put this high-quality material to use. You become fertile, and fertility is subconsciously read by women as the highest value. So the choice is simple. Either you are warm, soft, and safe like a teddy bear, or you are cold on the outside, but hot on the inside, dangerous and alive. December is the best time to make this choice. Tomorrow morning, turn the faucet to the right all the way. And don't think, just do. Step 3, Energy Accumulation. Jung's secret and the alchemy of power. Asterisk, and the third one, the most important, the most controversial, and the most powerful. We have reached the foundation. We talked about the brain, dopamine, and the body, cold. Now we are talking about the engine, about what Carl Jung called libido. Most modern people, corrupted by Freud, think that libido is just the desire to drag someone into bed. This is a primitive, castrated interpretation. For Jung, libido is psychic energy in its pure form. It is the will to live. It is the creative impulse. It is the force that makes empires rise, symphonies be written, and businesses scale. Sex is just one manifestation of this energy, its lower floor. But this same energy can flow to the upper floors. In December. Your main problem is energy incontinence. You are like a leaky bucket. You generate energy, food, sleep, but immediately drain it. You drain it through unnecessary conversations, through arguments in the comments, through complaints about life, and of course, through ejaculation without the goal of conception. The biology of price. How much is your seed worth? Let's remove the esotericism and look at the biological cost of producing a sperm cell. It is the most complex cell in the male body. It contains half of your genetic code, unique proteins, zinc, lecithin, phosphorus, and prostaglandins. To create one portion of ejaculate, your body spends a colossal amount of resources. This is the gold reserve of your body. In the Taoist tradition, this energy was called Jung. They believed that a man has a limited supply of shots. But modern science says otherwise. When you abstain from draining, ejaculation, for more than 7 days, a reabsorption process occurs. Your body, seeing that the seed is not being used, begins to disassemble it back into components. It absorbs these supernutrients back into the blood, and it sends them to the brain and the central nervous system. Androgen priming occurs. The density of androgen receptors in the brain increases. You start thinking faster. Your reaction sharpens. Your voice becomes deeper because vocal cords are very sensitive to hormonal background. This is not magic. This is the law of conservation of energy. You stop throwing your gold to the wind and start investing it in yourself. Jung's alchemy. Vas Hermeticum, the Hermetic Vessel. In December, we introduced the practice of the Hermetic Vessel. In medieval alchemy, it was believed that to turn lead into gold, you need a vessel that is sealed tight. If there is even one, crack in the vessel, the pressure will drop, the temperature will decrease, and transmutation will not happen. You are this vessel. Your task in December is to seal all the cracks. Crack no one, sexual drainage. We already discussed this. Accumulate. Let the pressure rise. Crack no two. Emotional drainage. Complaints and chatter. Remember the brutal truth. A man who talks a lot about his plans never realizes them. Why? Because the brain sees no difference between talking about a deed and the deed itself. When you told a friend over a beer how you would open a business, your brain released dopamine as if you had already opened it. That's it. The energy went into the whistle. The pressure dropped. You won't do anything. The practice of conscious inaction and silence. In December, stop telling. Stop complaining about the weather, the government, prices. Every complaint is a micro hole in your vessel. You are bleeding off the tension that should have been the fuel for your actions. Many men are panic-stricken by this state of accumulation. When you have a lot of energy and nowhere to drain it, the energy shakes begin. You feel anxious. You want to do something urgently. Check your phone, call someone, drink, jerk off. Stop. This is the moment of truth. This pressure is the power itself. Don't drain it. Hold it inside. Learn to be comfortable with this high voltage. Social physics, the gravity of power. What happens when you become a hermetic vessel under high pressure? Your social gravity changes. Remember how empty men behave. They fuss. They try to fill pauses in conversation with stupid jokes. They seek validation. They look into the interlocutor's eyes. Am I good? Do you like me? This smells of neediness. And neediness is the strongest anti-sex. A man who accumulates libido behaves differently. He walks into a room and the space bends. He doesn't need to jump around a woman to get attention. He has a heavy presence. It is a paradox. The less you try to be liked, the more you are liked. Why? Because you become a resource. People subconsciously feel, this guy has a nuclear reactor inside. He has an excess of life. If I am near him, I will get a piece of this energy. Your silence ceases to be awkward. It becomes significant. You can look a woman in the eyes and be silent, and she won't think you are a fool. She will think, God, what is he thinking about? He sees right through me. This creates intrigue. And intrigue is the beginning of falling in love. Transmutation. Where to put this power? But a warning, energy cannot stand still. If you just sit on the couch, abstain, and keep silent, you will explode. You will become an aggressive neurotic. Energy must flow, but not down, sex, and not sideways, chatter, but up. This is what Napoleon Hill called sexual transmutation. In December. Every time you feel a surge of arousal or a desire to distract yourself, do not suppress it. Accept it. Tell yourself, oh great, the fuel has arrived, and immediately invest it in action. Go to the gym and destroy your muscles with iron. Sit down and write the business plan you have been putting off for 6 months. Solve a complex problem you were afraid of. Use this lust as aggression against obstacles. You will see that work that previously seemed boring and hard is now done in a flow state. You literally fuck the world with your intellect and will, instead of draining it into a tissue. Protocol. No. Perimeter defense. Asterisk, and the last thing. To accumulate, you must stop giving away. December is the month of vampires. Everyone wants your time. Office parties, empty meetings, let's grab a coffee. Your task is to say no. No is the most powerful word in a man's dictionary. Every no to something secondary is a loud ye so shelf. Do not be afraid to offend people with your refusal. The paradox is that when you start valuing your time and energy, those around you start respecting you even more. An accessible man is a cheap man. An inaccessible, busy, focused man is a prize. Asterisk, make this December a month of monastic focus. Remove alcohol. It punches holes in your aura and makes you easy prey for energy vampires. Remove empty people. Remove the draining of seed. Seal your vessel. And by December 31st, you will be buzzing with tension. You will be a walking power plant. You will look at this world not as a petitioner, but as a conqueror. And women, oh, they will feel it first. Because, as we already said, their intuition is a high-voltage detector. And you will become the highest voltage object in their field of view. The result, the March Cat effect, biophysics of dominance. And here we come to the finale. What exactly will happen on January 1st, 2026? Let's simulate this situation based on knowledge of physiology and social dynamics. Scenario 1. The Walking Dead 95% of men. Imagine the morning of January 1st. The city sleeps. 95% of men wake up in a state of biochemical collapse. Their bodies are experiencing a cytokine storm, the consequence of alcohol poisoning and overeating. Inflammation levels are off the charts. Faces are swollen. The adrenal cortex failed to cope with the load in retained water. Eyes are red and cloudy. There is a GABA deficit and glutamate excess in their brains. This causes what is called hangover anxiety. They feel guilt, weakness, and apathy. Their testosterone is at rock bottom because alcohol suppressed hormone production at night. Their dopamine system is exhausted by the hyperstimulation of last night. These are, in essence, walking dead. They reek of decay, acetaldehyde, the breakdown product of ethanol. Subconsciously, women and children shy away from such men. This is the smell of a weak male who could not cope with the environment. Scenario 2. You, a new biological species. And now look at you. You wake up without an alarm because your circadian rhythm is perfectly tuned by light and regimen. Your body is lean and wired. Brown fat burned the excess, and cold removed the water. Your face is the face of a predator. Sharp cheekbones, clear whites of the eyes, calm facial expressions. But the most important thing is what cannot be seen with the eye, but is felt by the skin. Your heart rate variability, HRV. This is a key indicator of health and stress resistance. The dead have low HRV. Their heart beats like a metronome, in panic mode. You have high HRV. Your heart works coherently. The electromagnetic field of your heart, and it is, by the way, 5,000 times more powerful than the brain's field, broadcasts a signal of absolute calm power. You go out into the street, and you feel like a beast that has just come out of a cave after a long, restorative sleep. Hungry, powerful, dangerous. Mechanics of signaling theory. Why do women cling? Why did I call this the March Cat effect? In evolutionary biology, there is the concept of honest signals. A peacock's tail is an honest signal. It cannot be faked. If the peacock is weak or sick, the tail will be dull. If strong, it is bright. In 20-20-6, your energy will become your peacock tail. Women read this through 3 channels. Olfactory channel, smell, and this is not about cologne. It is about pheromones, derivatives of testosterone, such as androstenedione. After a month of abstinence, cold, and clean eating, the composition of your sebum changes. You start smelling like the musk of life. Studies show that women during ovulation, when they are looking for the best genes, instantly choose t-shirts of men with high testosterone by smell alone. You will become a drug to them. They will want to bury their face in your neck just to breathe you in. Visual channel, micromimicry, and gaze. Due to high dopamine and the absence of facial muscle spasms caused by stress, your face becomes open but tough. You stop blinking every 2 seconds, a sign of anxiety. You hold eye contact longer than others. In primate ethology, a steady, calm gaze is the prerogative of the dominant. You don't even have to frown. You just look, and the woman feels, he is not afraid of me. He is not afraid of the world. It is safe with him. Vocal channel, subtonalities. Your voice will become lower and, most importantly, resonant. Due to deep breathing, which you trained with cold, and a relaxed diaphragm, you will speak with your stomach, not your vocal cords. Such a voice causes a slight vibration in a woman's body, which they subconsciously interpret as arousal. Your words will carry weight, even if you speak complete nonsense. The law of communicating vessels of energy. Remember the main law of relationship physics. Energy always flows from high potential to low potential. Most people, both men and women, today are vessels with low potential. They are empty. They are looking for somewhere to recharge. They watch TV shows, scroll through feeds, look for scandals just to feel some emotion. You will become a source of high potential, a generator. Women will cling to you not just for sex. That is too primitive. They will reach out to you to warm themselves by your fire. Next to you, they will feel more alive. Their cheeks will turn pink. Their eyes will shine. You will charge them with your vitality. And for this feeling of life, they will be ready to forgive you everything. Your difficult character, your busyness, your quirks. In a world of weak men, strength is the only currency that does not devalue. The halo effect and the social elevator. But let's go beyond relationships with women. This protocol will hack your career and business. Psychologists call this the halo effect. When people see a person with high energy, good posture, and a clear gaze, they automatically attribute other positive qualities to him. Intelligence, professionalism, reliability, leadership. In 20-20-6, you won't have to sell yourself. You will walk into a meeting room, and partners will feel your superiority even before you open your mouth. You will be offered the best conditions. You will be given money to manage. Why? Because money is also energy, and it also gravitates toward the strong. You will become the Energizer Bunny in terms of inexhaustible efficiency. You will accomplish in a day what others do in a week. You will be a March Cat in terms of the audacity to take what is yours. You will stop asking the world for permission. You will simply come and take. Point of no return. You might not recognize yourself in the mirror, and those around you will ask, "What did you do? What did you take? What pills?" You will only smile, because you know the secret. You didn't take anything from the outside. You simply stopped killing what was inherent in you by nature. You woke up the wild origin in yourself, which slept under a layer of digital garbage and sweet food. December is the price. January is the reward. And this reward is a new version of you, capable of anything. You will become a rare beast in a petting zoo. And believe me, the rare beast always gets the best food, the best territory, and the best females. Such is the law of the jungle, and it works even in the concrete jungles of the metropolis. Friends, we have taken apart every screw. Now you have a map. You have the tools. You have an understanding of biochemistry and psychology. You have less than a month left until the end of the year. Look at the calendar. These days will pass anyway. Time is the only resource that cannot be accumulated. It can only be exchanged. What will you exchange this December for? Option 1. Inertia. You can close this video, say cool, like it, and change nothing. You will go to the office party. You will drink. You will eat cake. You will sit on social media. And on January 1st, you will wake up with a heavy head, with the same old problems, and with the feeling that you betrayed yourself again. You will remain invisible for another year. And maybe you won't even notice life passing by while you stand in line for cheap dopamine. Option 2. Transformation. You can make this December your personal secret training ground. You can declare war on your weakness. You can endure the cold, the silence, and the pressure. Yes, it will be hard. Yes, old habits will pull you back. But for what? For that moment when you walk into a room and the conversations stop. For that look the woman of your dreams will give you. For that feeling of limitless power when you realize, I control my body, not the other way around. Remember, the smell of a male cannot be faked. It cannot be bought in a boutique. It can only be created in the forge of discipline. I gave you the protocol. Dopamine silence, thermal shock, Hermetic Vessel. Do it, and in 30 days, you won't recognize yourself. And now, the first task. Right below this video, write just one phrase in the comments. I'm in. Let this be your first victory over laziness. Declare your intention publicly. I will read every comment and leave a heart for those who are truly ready for the fight. Take action. Your winter starts now.